went to church all my life, knew all the stories in the Bible, got to college, got an evolutionary class that I was required to take, and I went, wow. And I honestly didn't know what to do with it.
As a chemist and as a scientist, every book you looked at had the evolutionary bent.
I believe that they say that the universe is 15 billion years old. They believed that very small proteins arranged themselves and became a living cell. And that living cell changed into a multiplex of cells and then changed into another small something, and all of this is going on over eons of time so that one organism develops and changes into something else.
Couldn't allow myself to not believe in God, because that was just, I knew God was real, or at least Jesus was real. From an evolutionary standpoint, I just kind of went along with whatever they were saying.
I wasn't educated. I didn't know how to speak to the whole creation account.
I was a chemist at 3M Company, and I got to work fairly early, and I went up to the coffee pot, and I was chatting with this young fellow chemist, and we got to talking about evolution. I talked about that, that whole week. Almost every morning we would talk and carry on a little more. Finally, one day, I think it was on a Thursday, I came into there, and I happened to be talking with him again, and I said, well, you know what? I can't prove any of this, but I did find a verse that really is comforting to me, and that was out of Hebrews 11:3, where it says, by faith you know. And the faith that I had then was a faith that Genesis was real. Genesis is the way it happened.
A group of scientists, intelligent design, these men are looking at the evidence and they're saying, you know what? This is really too complex for some simple mechanism that changed over eons and eons of time, and we have the human eye, and we've got a flagella on a euglena, and we've got those things had to have happened in unison. They could not have happened over a series of time, or the organism would have been dead.
These were scientists that were really coming up with this stuff, and were showing that you didn't have to be a dunce. You could apply science to this.
There is no explanation for how non-living things actually became living. And the law of biogenesis that every scientist on the planet today follows is that living things come from living things. Non-living things do not become living. And that's a law that evolutionists and creationists would say yes to. We do see a lot of variation within species, but we don't see species becoming other species. If a beak size changes on a bird, it doesn't make it something than a bird. They have done countless studies on Drosophila, little fruit flies. I mean, generation after generation after generation after generation. And basically what happens to those poor fruit flies, now they can't fly, their eyes disappear, and everything about them through the mutations that are caused becomes less than life, not more. So we don't see evidence of things simple being able to become complex.
All of this stuff was scientifically as valid as anybody that wanted to say that this took billions of years. In fact, there was a major leap of faith, in my view, to go to the billions of years thing.
And sometimes the church have been guilty of not having a clear understanding and a clear statement about creation. You ask a Christian the things you're asking me today, and a lot of times we go, I'm not really sure. I don't know how that works. So we need to be sure of those things so that we can speak graciously and lovingly, but we should be able to speak the truth. And everybody's trying to answer the questions. Where did we come from? How did we get here? Where are we going? And I'm taking the belief that God is awesome and powerful, and He made all of this, and He has a personal destiny that was created before time for my life, as well as for everyone else.
The main basic thing is to have a personal relationship, not just with Jesus Christ, which is where it's at, but with the Father who loves us and gave His Son to die for us. So I think that's the starting point. Whatever we can do as Christians to help the unbeliever grab a hold of that, then I think we can begin to discuss things about evolution.